You pull up to the petrol pump, roll down the window, and ask for pure petrol. The attendant shakes his head. Your only option is E20, petrol diluted with a 20% ethanol blend. The official explanation for this is purely operational. The government claims that maintaining separate underground tanks, pipelines, and nozzles for pure petrol alongside E20 across thousands of stations is a logistical impossibility. We operate in an economy that successfully lands rovers on the moon's south pole and coordinates 10-minute grocery deliveries to your door. Yet installing a second nozzle to dispense a secondary fuel type is supposedly beyond our infrastructure capacity. The logistical excuse remains difficult to reconcile with our broader technological reach. By labeling a second nozzle an impossibility, the state frames a deliberate policy restriction as a simple operational hurdle. In the government's own official FAQ document regarding E20, there is a tiny asterisk admission. Burning this ethanol blend inherently causes a 3 to 5% drop in a vehicle's mileage. What they leave out of that FAQ is the chemical reality inside your engine. Ethanol is highly hygroscopic, meaning it actively absorbs moisture from the surrounding air. In older engines, never designed to process it, that trapped water accelerates internal rusting and degrades rubber seals. You pay the exact same price per liter, but you burn through the tank faster, all while your engine quietly deteriorates from the inside out. Policymakers defend the mandate by citing ethanol's anti-knock properties and lower emissions, but at the end of the month, it is the average driver absorbing the tangible costs on their dropping odometer and rising repair bills. On paper, the entire transition looks flawless. Major manufacturers like Maruti Suzuki report servicing tens of millions of older vehicles without recording a single formal warranty claim for E20-related damage. The data appears perfect until you listen to the transport minister's own statements. The government issued specific directives instructing auto companies to quietly replace any vehicle parts damaged by ethanol, completely free of charge to the customer. Mechanics at authorized service centers are actively swapping out degraded fuel lines, keeping these specific repairs off the official grievance books. The state knows exactly what this fuel blend does to non-compliant engines. The appearance of a seamless, damage-free national rollout is an illusion maintained entirely by undocumented mechanical interventions. To understand why this mandate is being forced so aggressively, we have to pull back from the individual service center and look at the industrial refineries producing the ethanol. Public sector banks have dumped an immense 1 lakh crore rupees into building out this nationwide ethanol supply chain. Those funds flow directly outward, tying thousands of farmer cooperatives into one interdependent financial network. This setup creates a massive economic vulnerability. If public demand for ethanol falters, that tidal wave of public bank loans immediately sours into unrecoverable bad debt. The entire ecosystem requires an absolute, uninterrupted consumption of ethanol to survive. The E20 mandate serves as the ultimate enforcement mechanism. By removing pure petrol from the pumps, the state mechanically manufactures the exact demand required to service those loans. Everyday consumers are being forced to act as a financial shield. Your vehicle's lifespan and your daily mileage are sacrificed purely to protect a trillion-rupee bet made by public banks. When challenged on this aggressive strategy, the government consistently points to Brazil, citing the nation as the global template for widespread ethanol adoption. Brazil did build a highly successful biofuel network, but it began organically as a survival measure during the severe global oil shocks of the 1970s. Before mandating a single drop of fuel, the Brazilian government spent decades cultivating their market. They offered targeted tax breaks, strong financial incentives, and methodical public awareness campaigns. Brazil succeeded because they built an ecosystem where ethanol became the logical, cheaper preference for consumers, not an overnight decree forced onto an unprepared public. By 2003, the Brazilian auto industry was already rolling out flex-fuel vehicles. They engineered the cars to handle extremely high ethanol concentrations, long before the fuel became a rigid national standard. Even today, the defining feature of the Brazilian model is freedom of choice. Drivers pull up and select their preferred blend, ranging from E27 all the way up to pure E100, based entirely on what their specific engine requires. India adopted the exact inverse of this strategy. Millions of drivers navigate dense traffic with older engines, while the state enforces the fuel mandate first, eliminates the alternatives, and tells the public not to worry about the science. Using unilateral policy to insulate a billion-dollar investment turns every driver into a financial shock absorber. When a state prioritizes its balance sheet over the mechanical health of its citizens' property, the foundational trust of the public begins to degrade.